can you please look up this site?
See if we can figure out something. Court calls the case People versus Thomas Styrone.
I'm Styrone, the living man. I'm here by special appearance to address this matter.
I'm sorry?
So I'm Thomas Styrone, the living man, not Thomas Gilbert Styrone, the entity you know me as, or as I'm in my papers. I'm here to address the matter.
All right, thank you. Wish to be represented by an attorney, sir?
No, I'm here, sir, address the appropriate persona.
All right. I do have to advise, so you're going to represent, you need to stand in the middle of the podium where he's telling you to stand. And handle things, he wanted you in the middle of the podium where you're supposed to be. If you don't want to be there, then say, no, I'm telling you now to do it.
If you want me to stand close to the mic, no problem.
Sir, you want to play a game with me?
No.
Not today. Mr. Allen, take him. We'll bring him back out when he wants to cooperate. Get somebody from security to check back there.
She's got a shirt on. So I'll tangle up with the handcuffs, so I'll deal with him. I'll take the cuffs off. Get an opportunity.
I don't know that we're going to be doing all that, but let me ask you something. On the Styrone matter, I sent my bailiff back to get him to bring him back out. The court is of the understanding that defendant number one is being, I will say, uncooperative, has purposely done some things to make it difficult to bring him out. What I'm going to do at this point in time, we're not going to wait and not going to play his game. We will hear him next week because of his behavior today before the court. At this point, I will revoke his bond and I will adjourn the probable cause conference. He certainly poses a risk to even bring him out. So I will adjourn this out to May 2nd, 2024, 9 a.m. or as the invite indicates. I will leave it there for the reasons that I've stated on the record. Mr. Mansour, he is not represented by counsel. If you would, for the court, take the opportunity to go back and to apprise him that of what the court has done and that I will see him next week. The court feeling that he's being uncooperative and not compliant. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
14B District Court is now in session. This is Magistrate Hillary Brayley presiding. Okay, and I need you unmuted at the jail. Can I have your name, please?
For the record, my name is Thomas Styrone II. I'm the natural person, I'm the living man. How we doing today, Miss Brayley?
We are upright, if nothing else.
Great.
So, okay. And you said your name is Thomas Styrone.
The second,
The second.
and then I'm the natural person, the living man.
Yes, thank you. You and stamp a whole. Did you? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so today is the date and time set for an arraignment. And Mr. Styrone, are you being represented by the public defender in this?
I am not. I'm representing myself.
Okay, thank you for your patience there. We had a little bit of a kerfuffle. So
No problem.
recalling case number 19S00472. That is the state of Michigan versus Thomas Ulrich Styrone the second, you said. And also calling 24W001025. That is the Township of Ypsilanti, also versus Thomas Ulrich Styrone. So state your name for the record.
So, for the record, my name is Thomas Styrone II. It is not the name you have attached to this case is not me. I believe that's a state created entity, Your Honor. And I'm not, me being a living person, I don't, my name is in proper punctuation. I don't have a all caps name, nor.
Okay, I'm going to cut you off right there. Okay.
I don't have no contracts with the state of Michigan at all, period. And so I was wondering about personal jurisdiction, subject matter jurisdiction in regards to this.
Okay. And you can continue to wonder about those at the moment. What I am doing, you have a show cause hearing on the matter ending in 472, which is the retail fraud charge. I'm showing a balance of $210 on that. And then what you're being arraigned on, that is what I am here to explain the charge against you, is a citation issued on April 2nd, 2024 at 9:24 in the evening. That charges that you operated a motor vehicle on North Ford Boulevard at or near Russell Street with no license on your person. Do you comprehend the charge against you?
I do not. I don't even own a license. I canceled my license years ago.
Okay. So what you are being charged with is operating a motor vehicle without having a license on your person. So I'm not asking if you agree with this. I'm not asking if you have a license. I'm asking if you understand the words coming out of my mouth as far as what this charge is.
The charge is accused me of not having a driver's license on my person, correct?
Correct.
Well, from my understanding, I need a driver's license if I'm in commerce. I was traveling home.
Okay.
I wasn't doing business at all. And also from my understanding, I don't need a license to do that.
And your overstanding is incorrect, sir. But we are not going to get into that for now. You are saying that you have understood the words as far as not having a license on your person. It is a misdemeanor charge with a maximum penalty of up to 93 days in jail, a $500 fine with court costs, or both.
So this is under the assumption that you guys have personal jurisdiction and subject matter jurisdiction over me, right?
Yes.
So
at this time, the court is going to set a pre-trial date for you. That will be before Judge Washington.
Ma'am, can we prove the jurisdiction first before we go ahead with setting a trial for that entity or a pre-trial for that entity?
I hear you. And at this point, you are appearing in front of the court. You have put your name on the record. And yes, we are setting a pre-trial date for you.
I did put my name on the record, and my name that I put on the record is not the same name that you have attached to that case.
And you can provide documentation of such at your pre-trial date, which is going to be June 26th.
So the documentation that I have published, recorded the documentation I have published and recorded on the record, on the state of Michigan record, that says what I just told you, that I'm not who you have, that I'm not the name you have attached to that case, that's I need to bring that with me, is what you're saying, it being already recorded and on the state of Michigan records not
So
good enough?
whatever documentation you have,
Mhm.
bring it with you to your pretrial date. That is what I am telling you, yes. So. And again, that court date, June 26th. Okay, will be June 26th at 9 a.m. before Judge Washington. The court will enter a that you are standing mute to all charges at this time.
So we're just assuming jurisdiction though, correct?
Yes.
How? From
No.
my understanding, that
And
has to be proved before we even proceed with anything else. Am I wrong?
you are not correct. The court will also set a personal recognizance bond in this matter. Basically, you are promising to show up for that June 24th court date at 9 a.m. over Zoom before Judge Washington, where you will have your pretrial. Okay, so at this point, your hearings are concluded. You are free to stand up and tell the jail that you are finished.
So I need to be there under threat, duress, coercion of going to jail?
Your hearing is concluded, sir. You may stand up and tell the jail that you are finished.
Your Honor, for clarity's sake, was that June 26th or 24th?
June 26th.
Thank you.
Case People versus Thomas Styrone. Here we go.
Well, let's talk to the judge about that, right? We've been through this. Seems to be some confusion.
What's the confusion?
I've stated multiple times on the record that I wish to represent myself.
Well, I thought we got rid of that issue the last.
Yeah, I thought so too. I spoke to this gentleman right here and expressed my wish to represent myself as well.
All right. Well, if he doesn't want you, I mean, we'll figure that out in a moment. So, Mr. Styrone, we're going to go through this again. What do we want to do in this case? You understand what you charged with, sir?
So, I understand what the charges are against me, yeah.
Okay, look, you're gonna have to give me straightforward answers to my questions because I've got to make sure that you understand certain things. I got to do certain things here.
From my understanding.
You understand, first of all, that if you do indeed direct, you want to smile about it and laugh about it, take him back. We'll call him out later. Take it back. You keep laughing. You laugh one more time, that's 30 days. Go contempt. Look it up.
What? She's got another case. She told me she was done.
You're what? Oh, they're there. All right. Court calls the case of the People versus Styrone. Recall. State your name.
My name is Thomas Styrone, living man.
Mr. Styrone, you are before the court. You have elected to represent yourself. I do have to advise you that you have 3 counts against you. The first count is that of fleeing and eluding 3rd degree under the motor vehicle code. Do you understand the nature of that charge, sir?
This is under the assumption that you're compelling me to identify as Thomas York Styrone, the legal entity on this case.
I believe that you are. Do you understand the nature of the charge, sir?
I don't understand how Uh, The name you have on the case and who I am, it's two different people.
I have a complaint, Thomas Styrone II. Do you understand that that individual is charged with fleeing and eluding third degree?
So
Do you understand the nature of that charge? You just need to answer my question.
for the record,
Take him back, and when he decides he wants to cooperate, we'll bring him back, maybe. I'm not threatening you. Say one more word, and that's 30 days. 30 days. This one. Recalls case, people of the state of Michigan versus Thomas Styrone II. Styrone, you are before the court on a felony complaint that does allege count one. And I'm going to presume, since you do not want to answer the court's questions, that you understand English and understand what I'm saying. You are before the court on 3 charges. Count one is the charge of fleeing and eluding third degree. Under the Michigan Motor Vehicle Code, that is a felony punishable by up to 5 years incarceration or $1,000 fine plus court cost, and would require the Secretary of State to suspend your license for up to 1 year upon conviction. Count two is assaulting, resisting, and obstructing a police officer. That is a felony or high court misdemeanor punishable by up to 2 years incarceration and or a $2,000 fine plus court cost. Count three is a misdemeanor offense of operating with a license suspended, denied, and or revoked. That is a misdemeanor as indicated, punishable by up to 93 days, $500 fine plus court cost. Your vehicle could be subject to immobilization. Since you refused previously to answer my acknowledgement as to whether you understand that, I will assume that you understand what you're charged with. You are also entitled to be represented by counsel at this and all subsequent proceedings. If you could not afford to hire an attorney would be provided at public expense to represent you in this matter. You are entitled, as indicated, to be represented at this proceeding, all subsequent proceedings, including your preliminary examination, and if the matter were to proceed by trial, you would be entitled to counsel. It is, as we have gone through the previous proceedings, the court's understanding that you do not wish to be represented by counsel, and that this matter will then proceed forth with you representing yourself. I have to advise you that in representing yourself, the court will make the presumption that you understand the Michigan court rules, those regarding both procedure and those regarding evidence. The court will not be providing any legal assistance to you during the course of those proceedings and will hold you to the same standards that I would hold an attorney representing or practicing before this court. So, with all of that, and with the court's understanding that you do not want to be represented by counsel, I will set this matter for its next proceeding.
you understand I'm the beneficiary, not the trustee, right?
That will be the preliminary examination. I will set the preliminary examination. Has discovery been provided to the defendant?
Your Honor, he was previously represented by the public defender. I don't know if they turned over the paperwork to him.
Does anybody from the public defender's office know whether or not the defendant has been provided discovery? Mr. Odetella. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Your Honor, we have the discovery. I have not been able to share that discovery with Mr. Styrone. I tried to speak with him and go over it, but I'd be happy to turn that over to him at first available.
All right, if you would either turn that over to the court officer so that they can provide that to Mr. Styrone so that he has the discovery, and if you could do that today, I would appreciate it.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm setting the preliminary examination. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
The people would have their witnesses available June 11th. Set this matter for preliminary examination in person, June 11th, 2024, 9 a.m. That is before me. Defendant, as he was leaving the courtroom the last time, the court did find the defendant in contempt, sentenced him to 30 days. The defendant will serve that sentence. the court will sign the judgment of sentence regarding the contempt.
I don't understand how that's possible. Like I said, I'm
So
the
first of
man,
all,
I'm the
watch your
beneficiary. You're
language.
treating me as if I'm the trustee, or I don't want to partake in any trust fraud or anything like that. Is this a Sessions QVA trust matter involved in this? Is my social security number attached to this at all? Go figure.
Mr. Styrone, or whoever you wish to be addressed as, I'd suggest that you watch yourself because there's going to be more time coming. You keep it up.
You're
You will
presuming
learn,
have
you will
jurisdiction over
learn
me,
how
yeah.
to conduct yourself appropriately in these proceedings in this courtroom and before me. You will not in any manner whatsoever
You're trying to
disrespect
compel me
me
to be somebody I'm not.
or this
You
institution.
have no evidence
It will not
to prove that
happen.
I'm who you say I
You
am.
will not talk to me in that fashion.
In what fashion? I'm not the one being unethical.
Very good. You'll serve the 30 days. We'll see. We'll see him on the 6th. Bond continued.
That's the one prosecutor. Why ain't this been dropped yet?
Okay. Yeah, that's what I told.
All right. 14-day district court of County of Washington, State of Michigan, is now back in session. The honorable Judge Day session, Judge presiding.
You may be seated. Court does call the case, People versus Thomas Styrone. Your name, sir?
Thomas Styrone, the national. So
This is date and time set for preliminary examination. My understanding is you wish to represent yourself.
appropriate persona, yeah.
Public defender is hereby relieved of any obligation in this case. Prepare an order for my signature, please, Mr. O'Donnell. All right. Court would further advise you, sir, that you are before the court on a 3-count complaint. That complaint alleges count 1, fleeing and eluding 3rd degree, which is a felony punishable by up to 5 years incarceration, $1,000 fine plus court costs. Count 2 is assaulting, resisting, and obstructing a police officer. That is a felony or high court misdemeanor punishable by up to 2 years incarceration and or a $2,000 fine plus court costs. Consecutive sentencing may be imposed if it occurred in a place of confinement. Count 3 is operating while licensed, suspended, denied, and or revoked. That's a misdemeanor charge punishable by up to 93 days, $500 fine plus court costs. You have elected to represent yourself in this matter. The court would first advise you that sometimes might be unwise to do so. The court will hold you to the same standard that I would hold a licensed attorney in conducting these proceedings. That is in reference to the Michigan rules of evidence and in the rules of procedure of the court. The court further would advise you that if at any time you wish to be represented by counsel, you would just need to let the court know, and the court will make sure that you are afforded counsel. Have you heard everything that I have said, sir?
So we're ignoring the fact that, as I stated on the record previously, I'm not that artificial entity you have in that case file. And we're ignoring the fact that I challenged jurisdiction previously. I've still not seen anything that says you do have jurisdiction over me and over being able to charge me with this.
You can have a seat. I will assume that you heard what I had to say, and we will proceed with the preliminary examination. You can have a seat right there.
Your Honor, before we begin, I just want to advise the court and the defendant that should be established on the record is the people's intention to add a count of felony firearm in violation of MCL 750.2, which is a maximum penalty of 4 years and or a $2,000 fine. That would be an amended count 4. And it's also people's intention, should the proofs bear this out, at exam to add a count of possession of a firearm, commission of a felony under MCL 750.227B with respect to both the proposed amended count of felony firearm and to the existing count 2, assaulting, resisting, obstructing a police officer. So this defendant is aware the penalty on that offense is a period of imprisonment for 2 years. Imprisonment prescribed by this section pursuant to MCL 750.227B sub 3
Is immediately preceding the imposition of any other sentence.
Yes, sir. And then it cannot be, there's no probation or parole time to that time. It has to be served. You know, with that being said, people are ready to proceed on this.
Sir, understanding that there are those additional charges which may be added, do you wish to be represented by counsel? You wish to proceed as you are now? You may proceed, counsel.
At this time, people,
Sir,
Sergeant Hope,
please come forward, be sworn.
Before you take a seat, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the truth, so help you God? Yes, sir. Go ahead, have a seat. Thank you, spell your first and last names for the record, please.
May I inquire?
thank you. Good morning, sir. What is your occupation?
Sergeant, the Sheriff's Office, Police Service Division.
And would that be for Washington County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, sir.
And sir, were you working in that capacity on January 31st, 2024?
Yes, sir.
Was that in the city of Ann Arbor?
City of Ypsilanti Township.
City of Ypsilanti Township, thank you. And what were you doing at that time when you were working as a sergeant for the sheriff's office?
Supervisor for road patrol. And for road patrol and responding to calls as well.
And were you investigating anything in particular on that date?
Yes, I was dispatched to a potential domestic violence incident that was occurring in the motor vehicle.
And was the victim of that possible domestic incident known to you?
Yes.
Is this someone who'd been a victim in past incidents?
Yes, domestic violence incident.
Did you have a concern for that person's safety?
Yes, I did.
In an effort to locate that victim, what steps did you take?
I was able to check through our internal systems and find an address for that victim. Since I didn't locate the vehicle or the person. Actually, when I was dispatched, I went to the location of the residence to try to follow up and see if she was there.
Were you able to identify anyone at the residence?
No, nobody answered the door. There was a car in the drive that was registered to her, so I didn't have the proper house. But still no answer to the door.
Did you take any additional action in an attempt to locate a possible domestic violence victim at that time?
I got a hold of dispatch on the radio and I asked dispatch to run all vehicles registered to the victim.
Did dispatch provide you with any information regarding an additional vehicle tied to that victim?
Yeah, they indicated that one of the vehicles that was registered to the victim was a Buick vehicle with no license plate attached.
And when you received that information, what did you do?
When I received the information, I was stationed at City of Jason, northbound on roadway, and I initially my visual here. I was driving by. It was a van, and as it went past, it kind of slowed down a little bit. And proceeded to pass through, and ended up being a vehicle plate.
And this was a vehicle description you had just received relating to the victim you're attempting to locate?
Yes.
When you saw that, when you made that observation, what did you do in response?
I asked dispatch to confirm if it was a van or a sedan over the radio, and I didn't get a response, so I had to make a decision at that point.
And what did you do? What decision did you make at that point?
The vehicle had no plate on it. It had a civil infraction violation, and due to the nature of what I was investigating, I wanted to stop the car for investigative reasons, so I initiated a traffic stop.
Okay. And when you were observing the vehicle, did you see if there was a temporary plate or any other kind of plate displayed?
Yeah, I tried to look, but I didn't see.
At the time of this stop, were you wearing your body worn camera?
Yes, I was.
And did you upload a copy of that and provide it to the prosecutor's office?
Yes,
Did you review that footage?
I have.
Is it a fair, accurate, and complete depiction of the events of that day?
It is.
And at this time, people would move for admission of the badge cam footage from this officer as People's Exhibit 1.
Any objection of order regarding that, sir?
Yeah, I'd like to adjourn to be able to review this, and I haven't had a chance to look at this evidence.
And I believe that the public defender provided our office with proof that the evidence has been turned over to this defendant. This is a discovery media receipt for this individual from the Office of the Public Defender.
That I have the discovery media receipt, and that was provided, but he's indicating he didn't see it. Is that correct?
They also turned over USB flash drive. That's not what we have a chance to. Also, I have a flash drive. I put mine in the scan. I haven't had a chance to look at that. I have that brought to me as well.
John, I'll defer to the court on the point.
Well, in regard to the discovery, Mr. Gaddy, where, do you know where Mr. Odetella is? Can somebody,
Judge Burke's courtroom, I can see.
can you see if you got Mr. Odetella? I'd like to know what was turned over to the defendant. He's indicating he hasn't, what you're about to show.
Fair enough, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. May I flesh out some other testimony not related to the video directly? While we're waiting.
Go ahead. That's fine.
Sir, at the time that you came into contact with the defendant's vehicle, or this unlicensed Buick rather, that you've testified about, what kind of a vehicle were you in? Okay. And what kind of clothing were you wearing at the time?
Class B uniform, so identifiable, identified as sheriff's deputy.
So both your vehicle and the items of clothing you were wearing clearly identified you as a member of law enforcement?
Yes.
And to effectuate a traffic stop in this case, did you activate your lights and siren?
I first initiated my overhead lights. It was a traffic stop, and the vehicle didn't stop. I started tripping my siren just to make sure I could see and have. Yeah.
I'll stop at this point, Your Honor.
All right, very good. Mr. Odetella.
Yes, sir.
I think the last time that we were here, there was discovery given to Mr. Styrone. He has indicated just now that a video was not turned over to him.
We have turned over all videos. We provided him with the entirety of all media discovery on it.
Understood. So then the question becomes, Mr. Styrone, you just haven't been able to review it, is what you're.
Do it anytime.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna, unless there's additional questions that don't have to do with that, but I'm concerned about even going forward at this point. So I'm gonna stop the proceedings right here. I will adjourn this out to my next date at having started before me, which is July 9th. 2024 at 11 a.m. What I would like to see, and we'll arrange it so that this defendant have access to be able to view that video. He'll make a choice as to whether or not he wishes to review it or not, but at least I will give him access or give him time in which to review that video. All right, this matter is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Here.
Honors, I apologize. My officers informed me that he's actually going to be out of town on that date.
Okay.
You want it back?
Then it would be the 30th. When do you come back?
The following day on the 16th, I will be back in town the following Tuesday. If that's
On the 16th, that's not my day. What day am I covering for?
Not till August.
That is July. I keep asking that.
Do you want a special?
Yeah, but it's gonna have to be where I have my courtroom. Because he's in lockup.
Tuesday the 16th, we just said it at 1 o'clock.
Okay. We'll do the 16th at 1 o'clock. All right.
Yep.
Cool. That'll work. Okay, can we try to make sure that Mr. Styrone knows that that's his day without bringing him back out? Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And Ypsilanti Township versus Thomas Styrone, 24W001025.
Paul Barnett on behalf of the township.
Assistant Public Defender Donnie Lee, on behalf of Mr. Styrone. Mr. Styrone, could you state your name?
Can you state your name, sir?
Thomas Styrone the second. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. All right, we're here in the 19S case for payment, and Mr. Styrone is obviously in custody, so he has not been able to make those payments. And then as to case number 24W001025, this is a failure to display license case.
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to request an adjournment on both these matters until a date after August 6th, which is Mr. Styrone's next date in his felony matters. I'm continuing to discuss him to understand the state of his license and see if he can restore that upon his release. Additionally, he's obviously not able to make payments until he is released.
All right, I can put it over to August 7th.
Thank you, Your Honor. You have a blessed day.
You too, Mr. Styrone. Take care.
Thank you.
Court does call the case of People's State of Michigan versus Thomas Styrone the second.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'm confused on behalf of the club.
Sir, state your name, please.
I'm George Styrone, second.
All right. This date time set for preliminary examination. Mr. Styrone, you are here representing yourself. I would indicate to you that there are 3 charges on the complaint in this case. The first charge is that of fleeing a police officer under the Motor Vehicle Code in the 3rd degree. That is a felony punishable by up to 5 years and a $1,000 fine plus court costs. Count 2 on the complaint alleges assaulting, resisting, and obstructing a police officer. That is a felony punishable or a high court misdemeanor punishable by up to 2 years incarceration and or a $2,000 fine plus court costs. Count 3 is a charge of driving while license suspended, denied, and or revoked. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine plus court costs. The subject matter of this preliminary examination is for the people to establish by probable cause that the felonies have been committed. If the people do establish that, then you would be what's called bound over to stand trial in the circuit court. You are here appearing without counsel. I would advise you that if you wish to represent or be represented by counsel, you can let the court know, and the court would make sure that counsel would be available to you in this proceeding. I would also indicate that if you are desirous of continuing to represent yourself, you certainly have an absolute and constitutional right to do so. You will be held to the same standard that attorneys are held to regarding the court rules, regarding the presentation of evidence, and anything else along those lines, as well as questioning of the witnesses. Do you understand all of that, sir?
I understand everything.
Pardon?
I understand everything.
Okay. And sir, do you still wish to proceed unrepresented? Very good. Do you have any questions before we begin the preliminary examination?
I haven't had a chance to look at the body cam and the evidence. I just got a kite back yesterday telling me I could ask the new staff to be able to view this. I've got maybe 45 minutes or an hour's worth of time in it so far. I'm able to get through the first day.
45 minutes, an hour into what?
To, I think there's 16 videos on the thumb drive, and I think Officer Hooks is an hour and 15 minutes long in itself. So what I'm saying is I've had insufficient time evidence to even review it, to be able to articulate it.
Excuse.
Your Honor, I understand that the APA that was present before me had intended to admit that some of the body camera. I will not be using any of it today. I'll be proceeding with just Sergeant Houk's testimony.
I guess and I understand that misuse, and I guess the only question would be if whether or not something contained on the body cam might lead to evidence that the defendant either would want to present or lead to evidence that the defendant may wish to question the deputy on. And I'm going to have no way of knowing that.
I appreciate that, Your Honor, especially because my office previously put on the record, and I'll reiterate today, we do plan on adding additional charges, account of felonious assault, which assault with a dangerous weapon against the sergeant, and 2 counts of felony firearm, which are mandatory 2 years in prison. So, Your Honor, I don't have a problem if we need to adjourn this room to have more time with the video.
Okay. Right. And under those circumstances, and I had forgotten, I think you had mentioned that before, that with that. Okay. So, Mr. Styrone, you're requesting an adjournment of the proceeding so you can get through that. Is that okay? How far, and I guess I was unclear, you have access to the body cam?
Yes, I do. It's in my property.
Okay. But then you were talking about you got through some of it?
The first video, and I believe it's a YouTube, not YouTube, but a Facebook video of a bystander.
Say that again.
Facebook video that somebody took.
Okay.
And part of his body, maybe 20 minutes, half hour's worth.
When you're saying his, you're talking about
Officer Hooks, yes.
Okay.
I believe his body cam footage is an hour and 15 minutes in its totality. So I've barely been able to scratch the surface of that.
Okay, let me ask you. Go ahead. Were you going to say something else on that?
And like I said, I believe there's 15 or 16 videos in there total. Maybe more, and that's just what I was able to see.
Okay, so let me ask you this. How are you arranging to view that video?
So originally I was kiting everybody I could. I was correctional services, the sergeant, that sergeant. And finally, while down in correctional services, I was able to speak with Sergeant Flint.
Okay.
And he was able to arrange this first meeting. And like I said, I got a kite back from him yesterday telling me just to bother the noon staff, and they'll arrange it during the noon shift. So
gotcha.
Prior to yesterday, I was still asking. I guess I was just asking the wrong shift. I was asking later in the day, that's for certain. And I really was never able to get anything else arranged as far as being able to go and view it.
Okay, so you were trying to do it one way, that wasn't happening. You finally got to Flint, and he indicated to you that it's the noon staff you're supposed to bother to try to. Okay.
Flint's definitely provided direction in regards to how I can go about getting this.
All right. Okay. So we'll need to then adjourn that. Have you? Well, I'm going to ask it one or two ways. How long do you think it'd take you to get through it? I mean, is it your, and I won't hold you directly to it, but I mean, would you be able to do it in one day if you had access to it, or is it going to take you a few days, or just your best guesses? Because you know how long the clips are. I don't have any idea by design.
I only have knowledge of how long his particular video is, Officer Hooks. I don't, the other ones I haven't looked at, viewed, can't remember how big the file is, nothing like that. If I was out in the world, I could probably have this done within a week at my house. I have my own computer, and I planned on originally being able to do this. Also, it depends on
the jail, they've been so short-staffed, we've been locked down a lot as well. So it depends on what their staffing numbers is during it. When I'm asking or trying to arrange this, there's so many variables, it'd be hard for me to give you a.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
And then also,
But you don't know total time, how much there is.
and
You
also
just know that one.
since May, I've been fighting an illness that just recently the jails addressed. So yeah, there's so many things going on. I've been since May. I've been having stomach issues, bowel issues, and on Friday or Saturday I was urinating blood. Finally, I was able to get some the medical staff to do something with that as far as me urinating the cup and give me some type of antibiotics, but all they can tell me is I have an infection. They just don't know specifically what type of infection. So I'm also dealing with that, and it's making me very lethargic and
Okay, I got you.
energy in that.
What do we
Address that as well.
What do we look like on the 6th? Well, we've got stuff. It's a day like today. I got stuff in the morning, but
We also
then
have an expungement back in. But
on the 6th,
so far it's 2 pieces in the morning.
2, and then I got that at 1. But if I set this at 1, the expungement should set this at 2.
And as of right now, there's no expungements actually scheduled.
Got it. Okay. Okay, so that we hopefully won't run into this again. You've gotten all of the discovery.
Pardon me.
You got all of the discovery. Like you got the, as far as you know, you got the police report. You have all of that. It's the video. All right. So what I will do is I will adjourn the preliminary examination in this matter. I would go to the 30th, but I think I'll go to August 6th. (2024) at 1. I'm going to set it at 1 p.m. We'll just push everything else out of the way, and that way we'll be here. So that'll give you 3 weeks to try to get through that. Now, if there are issues like what you're talking about, short staff, whatever, and you haven't been able to get through everything, talk to one of the deputies so that they can get in contact with my office, so that if we have to push it out another week, we can just get that done without you coming up here telling me you're not ready.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Got a question in regards to, is there any reason why that would be preferred instead of me being able to address what I got going on internally and at a hospital or outside in the world? I guess me being put on bond so I can take care of my illness as well as look at this discovery and handle that. So it'll probably be done in a more timely manner. There's less variables involved.
Your Honor, I'm not available before then anyway, so I'm very happy to come back in 3 weeks once he's had the opportunity to review it in the jail. And yes, as Your Honor is well aware, if this gentleman's ailments were to the level that he needed to be hospitalized, the jail would certainly hospitalize him. Additionally, the jail would notify their chain of command if there were any needs that exceed the jail's current ability to assist him. I've received no communication from the jail to that effect, which tells me it's not happening, meaning that the jail is the appropriate place for him. Also, Your Honor, I will, as the court knows, the defendant is in custody without bond for the defendant's demeanor in this courtroom. At the time that my office charged this case, we requested a $50,000 cash surety bond. This is a person who, while possessing a firearm, threatened to cook the sergeant, which is one of the reasons that I'm planning to put the information against him. Additionally, Your Honor, this case originally came in as a domestic violence call, and Sergeant Howe took the opportunity to try to protect the community by proceeding after this defendant in a manner to not only protect one individual woman, but to protect our community. And it resulted in this person possessing a firearm and not only threatening the sergeant, but threatening the sergeant's dog as well.
My rebuttal to that is, when I said cook, I made it very clear. I said I meant legally in the courts, which he iterated on his body cam. So according to the body cam video, he is fully aware that I meant legally through the court process. And also, I believe in the police report, he was sitting there for a welfare check with a possible rolling domestic, which led me being pulled over, me being a single person in my van, not two people, which would be involved in domestic, I imagine. And then once pulled over, pretty sure he knew I wasn't who he was looking for, just based on my parents' description, based on who was looking up in his talent or the name system or whatever it is they use in the police cruiser. Make sure to iterate that I plan to use the legal system to address any transgressions or trespasses I felt was made against me. And sorry,
Go ahead.
Also, I was the one who stayed on top of these charges. I'm the one who called the court every day, stayed on top of this case, and I'm the one who arranged the court date with Ms. Fink. I was the one who called the courts week after week, and they didn't have my case in, and finally they did. I was very proactive in trying to get this addressed through the court system. Had no intention of running or trying to avoid it at all. And I think my actions would suit such.
In this matter, I'm not going to at this point change your mind, Mr. Stern, and I'll just put it to you this way. I don't know the facts of the case. By design, I don't. So I'm going to certainly, I hear the allegations. I hear your response to the allegations, and at some point I'll see the evidence. In terms of what I had previously heard in regard to this case, I would consider your actions on that date, at least as I understand them to be at this time, that you pose a significant risk to the public and to public safety by your conduct that day. Okay, I'm not sure about the comments. We'll deal with that. Further, as the prosecutor indicated, your demeanor in the courtroom prior to today leads the court to question whether or not releasing you, I could trust you to do what I ask you to do. This is the first time today, as we were talking to each other, going through the things, that it's been a civil conversation with you to try to resolve the things. All I'm trying to do is get the case through. I don't know why the other days you made a determination to try to act a particular way to the court, because I'm just, like I said, I'm just here trying to get the case heard and get everything done. And so I have, based upon what I hear regarding the case, what I also have seen in terms of your demeanor in the courtroom, I have great reluctance in terms of doing that. What I will tell you is this, is that I certainly will address, so I'm going to deny your request to the extent it was a request to change your bond in this case at this time. Certainly, hopefully we'll be able to go forth on the 6th, and I certainly will relook at everything on the 6th, and you could raise the issue again. But I want you to understand that part of it is because of what the allegations here are. And I'm not saying you're guilty of them. I'm not saying any of that. But in terms of the allegations and what could be and is, from this court's perspective, a situation where you may pose a risk to the community, but also a lot of it is of your own doing in terms of what happened here. Okay. And so all of that I have to take into and can take into consideration. But like I said, in fairness to you on the 6th, because today was 180 degrees from before. And so I will now factor that in. And on the 6th, certainly I will take a look at anything you just raised again before the court. Okay. And I would agree just real quick, and I'll let you. I would agree with what Ms. Hughes has said, and that is that if your medical were to an extent, our jail is excellent. I have to say the sheriff's office is extraordinary in making sure that people get the medical care that they need. But certainly you would have to apprise them of that, and I think maybe you have, and they will make sure that you're taken care of. I just don't have a doubt in my mind and have never had an issue with an inmate getting the care that they need. So, all right.
Two things. 4 times we've been adjourned because I asked to represent myself. I don't believe my demeanor played any roles in that. I thought it was because there was some misunderstanding as far as the courts and trying to represent myself.
Oh no.
And in regards to the medical thing, I reported this in May. It took until I got blood in July before anything was ever followed up on or done.
Okay. I suggest that you send another request regarding the medical issue. And Mr. Styrone, I would also suggest to you, it never is an issue. I've had 2 others come through representing themselves. That is never an issue with me because you have a right to do that. And I'm just going to let you know, that is not the reason. You need to go back and you need to look at what you were doing in this courtroom toward this court for reasons I don't even, Mr. Styrone, understand. So I'm not here to debate that with you. I'm just telling you that's where it was.
I wasn't implying that, Your Honor. What I was saying was, maybe I was misunderstood. That when we went to proceed with the court proceedings, there was some misunderstanding in regards to the public defender's office representing me versus me representing myself. Since there was that misunderstanding, it was adjourned, I believe, 4 times over those matters. It wasn't because I was acted out or anything. I believe I came and went so fast. It wasn't even opportunity.
No, there were a couple of adjournments because of that. Okay. But that was because you needed, there was assistance you needed in regard to what we were dealing with at a particular given moment. And so that's where the PD was standing in. But no, it was your behavior on the date that I revoked your bond. And then the other dates were trying to make sure of that. And I was, I'll just be honest with you, Mr. Styrone, I wanted to make sure that you truly wanted to represent yourself and that your rights were protected with having the PD here. And until I was clear on that, I wasn't going to let things proceed because, well, I'll just put it to you bluntly, you got a hot head sometimes. And I wanted to make sure you weren't making that decision just because and not fully understanding what this was, because these are serious charges and potentially more that are coming. That's my whole thing on that. Okay.
I appreciate it.
All right.
One last question, if we're about to be done. In order to get a hold of your office, I can use the channel of the jail, not the mail system, because I don't have envelopes to pass information or anything that I can. The jail is my channel that I go through to contact you and inform you certain things, be it whether it's documents or
I'm not, well,
or in regards to me needing more time.
I think you would have to send some type of communication, written communication to my office. I don't think there's a direct line, and I'm not even sure how that works because I usually don't have inmates contacting my chambers directly. Sometimes they will mail things, which seems to me to not be it. Do you? Oh, there he is. So he'll figure that out. He'll let you know how to get a communication up to my office.
Right.
Okay. And not whether or not I can do anything about it, I don't know. So when that happens, so that you understand, Mr. Styrone, whatever you send to me that I'm going to review needs to also go to the other side. But what I will do to try to make things easier, if this is okay with the people, is that once it comes to me, I will make sure that whatever you're sending to me, they're going to get a copy.
That works, thank you.
All right.
Envelopes are $1 and I have no money in my account, so it'd be very burdensome to try and buy envelopes to send to everybody.
They're $1? Seriously?
No, down there.
I got about $500 in back. That. Okay.
So
Why? No, I'm just saying, if I can sell it for $1, I'll just take the whole box down. Anyway, okay, so we sorted that out. Make sure to get with them. They'll make sure it gets up to us.
perfect. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Styrone? I appreciate you behaving yourself this way. Because just listen, because you're coming in hot like you did before, I'm just gonna let you know, with me or any other judge, that's a battle you're going to lose every time.
I can appreciate that, and my only response to that is I've never had that happen. All the other judges have ever had going front of whether check. Miss Fink was able to have a conversation after the court time.
She's nicer. She's nicer than I am.
She's a very nice woman, that's for sure. And
She's much nicer than I am, and so she has patience. Sometimes I don't.
Fair enough.
So you got to take it as it is. All right. Thank you. You do the same.
Thank you.
Hi, can you turn on your camera, Your Honor?
I can.
It wasn't.
Thank you. Go ahead, Nelson. Court does call the case of the people of the state of Michigan versus Thomas Styrone II.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'll use on behalf of the people.
State your name.
Thomas Styrone II.
All right, thank you. Mr. Styrone, this is date and time set for a preliminary examination. Like with the other proceedings, I do have to advise you, you are before the court on a 3-count complaint, but 2 of them, which are the subject matter today, that being the, get this and make sure I have it right here. The complaint was. Count 1 is the charge of fleeing and eluding in the 3rd degree. That is a felony punishable by up to 5 years incarceration, a $1,000 fine plus court costs. Count 2 is the charge of assaulting, resisting, or obstructing a police officer. That's also a felony punishable by up to 2 years and a $2,000 fine plus court costs. Count 3 is the charge of driving while license suspended, denied, and or revoked. That's a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 93 days, $500 fine plus court costs. You have elected to represent yourself in this matter, sir. As I've apprised you before, you will be held by the same standards that an attorney would be held to in conducting the preliminary examination. You also understand that today is the time and date set for the preliminary examination in this matter. If you choose to no longer represent yourself, the court would have counsel appointed to represent you. Do you understand everything that I said?
Yeah.
All right. And just, I also would indicate that there is some peril in representing yourself in any matter. All right. Go
I'd
ahead.
like to change. I've only had one opportunity to view this evidence, and we haven't been able to proceed based on that for, I think this is the 3rd time we've been in court over this. I'd like to
say that to me again. You haven't had the opportunity.
I've only had one. Okay, between the short staff and the instance at the jail, I've only been able to go down there and review it once. I asked about getting us to your office to relay this to you since last week.
So
the defender's office since maybe 10 days now. They told me I had to come to court and ask before they could do that.
right, because you had said okay. All right. So the last time we were here, Mr. Styrone, you needed to review the discovery, and I adjourned it to make sure that that happened. you haven't been able to look at it, or you haven't, let me put it this way, what I'm hearing from you, and you tell me if I'm wrong. What I'm hearing from you is you've seen it, but you haven't had enough time to go through it. You went through it once or what?
75% of it. I think I'm on video 11 or 12 out of 16 or 17.
Okay.
Mind you, this is after spending 2.5 hours.
What?
I spent 2.5 hours last time I was there viewing it. And that's as far as I got.
And that's, oh, okay, okay. So there was some time, it's just
Yeah.
didn't, okay.
Yes.
So you now want to be represented by an attorney, by the,
Please, I'm trying to, please.
all right. Do we have? I'm sure there are public defenders in the building. Why don't I do this? Why don't we take him back? I'll run over myself, see if we can get somebody to get over here, okay? And just so that I'm clear, you had the public defender before, right? It wasn't somebody else at the arraignment. And, but he didn't, they didn't disqualify him.
No, I don't believe so.
I don't think they did.
Mr. Ovatello was the-
That's right. Okay, let me check and see what we can do. All right, court is standing brief recess. All right, let's. You had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Styrone. Right, court recalls the case of the people versus Thomas Styrone.
Joy Gaines, Senior Assistant Defender.
All right,
I'm sorry.
all right. Mr. Styrone, you wanted the court to arrange for you to have the PD represent you, is that correct?
Please, yes.
All right, so we contacted Ms. Gaines, she was gracious enough to come over. And I understand you talked, so what I'm gonna do is, I was going to adjourn the preliminary examination without objection. My next date, and I'm off, I can't get it any sooner, it was gonna be the 27th. Which may work out, because Mr. Styrone indicates to me there's a whole bunch of videos and that you guys may have to go through, so. But he said he say about 75%, so. He got through. So I will adjourn the preliminary examination, in this case to August 27th, 2024, 9 a.m. That's before me. And I will indicate that the PD is on the case. So can we try to make sure to so that the notices will get to the PD? I mean, I'm not, they got to put them in as attorney of record because Mr. Styrone had me get rid of him. I don't know what he was doing. Anyway. Okay, fine, we'll continue. All right. Thank you, Mr. Styrone. And I think I'll just tell you this, the wise move on your part.
Like this, sir.
Yeah, it's a lot harder without it, isn't it? Yeah. All right. 14A stands adjourned.
All right, the court will call the matters of Mr. Thomas Styrone. That's interesting. Ticket number 24W001025. There is also a show cause on, which is a state matter, 19S00472.
Paul Barnett on behalf of the township.
Assistant Public Defender Davi Lieb on behalf of Mr. Styrone. Your Honor, could we approach briefly?
You may.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I don't know, just bring him just in case. I'm not sure what he's approaching. All right, we're back on the record on the Thomas Styrone matters. Mr. Styrone, it's my understanding, sir, that you want to plead guilty as charged to failure to display the license in this case. That is a misdemeanor carrying a maximum penalty of
Is it a 90-day 100, Mr. Barnett?
1 minute. So, I'm sorry, is this DWLS he's pleading to?
No. Okay.
Or is it invalid?
Some persons still have some
Oh,
persons.
no, absent person is 90 days, $100.
90 days and or $100 fine plus court costs, sir. Whether, maybe you can't hear me, but your attorney is asking whether I have credit for time served. I understand why they have the noise is so loud there at the jail.
I'm unable to hear the court over it, Your Honor.
Okay. But he can't hear me. That's the problem. Can you hear me? Maybe he can't hear me. Can you get corrections for me? Can you get the officer for me, please?
Sure.
Hello?
Anything about the noise, he can't even hear me, and the people in the courtroom.
She's asking if you can do anything about the noise. I can't hear her because it's so noisy from the other two rooms.
Oh, yeah. I can try. We have multiple courts going.
I think what I'm hearing is a full interview.
What's that?
Can you
Interview of a defendant.
Okay, well, one second. Let me turn that.
Yeah, she said turn the interview with the public defender's office down. That way we can hear court.
I'm going to go back to the teller. You should be able to hear her.
I hope so. Yeah, I think the problem was her being able to hear everything going on next door, though.
All right, can you hear me now, Mr. Styrone?
Yes, I hope that's not too loud, Your Honor.
Yeah, it's better, but it's still pretty bad. So, Mr. Styrone, my understanding is that you're gonna plead guilty to failure to display a license, which is a misdemeanor carrying a maximum penalty of 90 days and or $100 fine plus court costs.
I am, Your Honor.
And I did a COPS agreement with your attorney whereby you would get credit for time served.
Bless you, yes.
All right. Please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may lower your hand. I'm going to go over some rights that you have that you're going to be giving up entering into this plea. Please stop me if you have any questions or if you feel like you need to speak with your attorney again, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You have the right to have a trial by a jury in this case, at which time you could call witnesses to speak for you. You can get an order signed by this court to require that those witnesses come to court. You have the right to see, hear, and question any and all witnesses that are called against you, and you have the right to be a witness for yourself, or you could choose to remain silent. If you chose to remain silent, the prosecutor cannot comment on that. In addition to that, you have the right to be presumed innocent unless proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand those rights?
I do, Your Honor.
You understand you're going to be giving up each and every one of those rights, and you're not going to be having a trial of any sort?
Yes, I do.
And do you also understand that if you were on probation, parole, or bond when you committed the offense, then you could be in violation of that probation, parole, or bond? And this is from April the 2nd of 2024.
I do, Your Honor.
Were you on any of those?
Pardon me? No, I was not.
Okay. And then finally, if you're not a U.S. citizen, you could have immigration consequences. Are you a U.S. citizen?
I'm a national, Your Honor.
Okay. You've had an opportunity to speak to immigration or anybody about if there are immigration consequences?
No, and I don't believe there is any, which is the reason why I haven't had to speak to him.
Okay, so
Your Honor, Mr. Styrone is a citizen.
Okay, thank you. All right, with respect to this charge, operating while, without a license on your person, no apps on person, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Does anyone prompt you anything to get you to plead guilty other than what we placed on the record?
No, ma'am.
Anyone threatening you anyway?
No, ma'am.
On April the 2nd of 2024, will you operate a motor vehicle at the vicinity of Ford Russell Road here in Ypsilanti Township?
I was, Your Honor.
And at that time, did you not have a valid license on your person?
I did not.
All right, I find this annoying and willing admission of guilt. Are you satisfied, Mr. Burnett?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Defense satisfied, Your Honor.
All right, do we want immediate sentencing? Anything you want to say on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing from the township.
Anything you want to say, Mr. Styrone?
Just thank you.
You're welcome. Defendant is sentenced to 100 days in the Washington County Jail. Time served. 90 days waived. You're all set, sir. The case is closed. You do have 19-00472. There's an outstanding balance of 3 at this point. That balance will remain intact though, sir. So you get out and take care of that, okay?
Yes, as soon as I get out, I can arrange some type of payment plan and ideally get that taken care of speedily.
All right. I'll set it for a show cause for November 6th at 10 o'clock a.m. and see where you are, Mr. Styrone, okay?
Thank you so much. You guys have a blessed day.
You're welcome. You too.
Thanks.
Thank you.